Hello, world. Been a while since I've done one of these on Facebook because for some reason Facebook didn't want to cooperate with me because the Facebook gods, I guess, were not in my favor. But I am here today with one of my clients, Eden Spaulding, and I am so excited to spotlight Eden because I've just seen so much growth and transformation over the 6 months that I feel so honored I got to work with her. And I just want everyone in the world to experience a little bit of what's possible when you actually choose you, because that's really how I see this work and what this program is really all about. So, Eden, will you just do me a favor? Introduce yourself to my audience. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she already said it. My name is Eden. So I originally joined Rachel's program as a aspiring grief coach, but as of right now, I really more so align myself with just being a accountability coach for an organization that I work with, and I am also their operations manager running our leadership team. My background is really in social work. That's kind of where I came from originally, and I've kind of dabbled along the way into community management, into supporting therapists in private practice, and that's kind of where I am right now.
Yeah. And tell them a little bit because we were just chatting a few minutes before we went live. And as you mentioned, you joined with an intention of being a grief coach. And do you mind sharing a little bit of your journey and how you have landed? I would say you are also a leadership coach, Eden. I don't know if you identify with that, but that's how I see you and how you've kind of landed where you're at now.
Absolutely. Obviously, it wasn't planned. That's the wonderful piece of being able to know. So I originally had started, so I lost my mom in 2021. And from that, I really started, Instagram kind of around grief and really using that as my outlet through my grieving process.
Mhm.
And I had already been doing accountability coaching with my organization. So I already got kind of the taste of the coaching side of things. And I kept thinking to myself, man, I just really wish I could do something in this grief space because that's how I really stay connected. I feel connected to my mom in that way, and I feel
Yeah.
connected to that grieving process. So I was able to, kind of launch into that area a little bit. I've had some amazing experiences with a few clients that I got to support for free, doing some tests and some practice. But kind of through that process, I kind of just realized about myself that it I don't need to be in that grief space, right? I kind of gave myself that permission that while I felt like this is something that I had to do, I didn't. I got to do what I wanted to do, and I was at a point that honestly, my grief journey has kind of obviously it's still here, but it's kind of evolved to a level
Mhm.
that I don't feel like I need to surround myself by it all of the time. And I think a lot of it initially came from I just want to stay in that grief mindset. And I've been able to shift a little bit out of it, still honoring those pieces of
Yeah.
me. And it's made a huge difference in honoring grief within other scenarios and other situations that I have the opportunity to coach. But when it comes to what do I enjoy and what comes super fun and naturally, it's always been really that leadership, that organization. And through my experience within Rachel's program, I got a promotion and I became, the main operations manager for my company, overseeing a team of 15, 16, 17 people. Um, Never was trained to do those things, right? It just kind of came into the picture. And I really decided in those moments that I don't have to do all of the things. I can
Yeah.
focus on what I want to do right now. And this is what I want to do right now.
I love that for you. And so, Eden, congrats, right? I already knew you had that promotion, but congrats again. So, what do you think has helped you over the last 6 months be able to really own, really like, I'm going to do what I want to do and what instead of what I think I should do, but actually following your heart, following I would say your desires. What do you think helped you the most in getting to that place?
Yeah. I am a chronic person who can't say no, right? And I feel like a lot of our coaches are. We want to say yes to all
Yeah.
of the things. So for me, it's always been this feeling that I have to do more, right? I have to do more. I have to make more money. I have to do, I can't have a hobby because I could be using that time for something productive. So through the coaching process within the program, it was really a lot of, I would ask, hey, what should I do? And I get a, well, what do you want to do? And then I have to think about it for the first time because I never really gave myself that time to sit and say, what do I want to do? And a lot of the time I don't know, or I didn't know, what do I want? It's been really hard to figure out, like, what do I want? So being able to really tune into that and say, it doesn't have to be what I want forever. It doesn't have to be what
Yes.
I want for the next 6 months, right? It's what do I want in this moment that's going to serve me, and I'm giving myself permission to do that.
Oh, so good. I think that so many people need to hear that, that you can actually just give yourself the permission to do what the fuck you want.
Yeah,
You don't have
absolutely.
to get it from anyone else. Ah, what would you say inspired you? I mean, you mentioned a little bit because you were wanting to really pursue the grief coaching, but was there anything else that inspired you to join the program?
Absolutely. I think part of it was, yes, I was considering the side gig and wanting to do grief coaching. The other piece of it is I've been doing my accountability coaching within my organization for, I think it had been 6 months or so at the time, and
Mhm.
I just don't feel like I knew what I was doing, right? Like it's one
Mm.
of those pieces of like, I'm doing this thing and we don't really have like a formal training for what coaching really is. And I'm just feeling a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right, right? So it was a kind of a combination of I want to just grow in my skills, but also how cool would it be if I took this thing and was able to do something else with it. Luckily to say, I've grown in those skills that I wanted, and I definitely feel a lot more calm and confident walking into my coaching sessions. And I feel like I've been able to step outside of so much of the task oriented mindset that we really do
Yeah.
focus on as accountability coaches, but being able to really tap into some of that inner work and some of those thoughts and feelings that are going on with my clients. So that's been huge. And it's been like 360 full turnaround shift from where I was. I don't dread going into a coaching session. I'm enjoying myself at this point.
Oh, so good. And it really does. I hear it time and time again from coaches that get into this work and then they end up dreading, or I call it the pre-call jitters, which turns into dread. And it doesn't, here, Eden, doesn't have to be that way. So, Eden, what would you say was, or I say, what stood out for you as like the most impactful part?
Mm. I think the most impactful part overall is just you come in expecting to learn how to do things kind of externally, but really the mirror gets shown on you, right? You put the mirror up to
Ah,
yourself and
yeah,
get
the
to see
internal work.
all of that internal stuff, and you realize that all of these like things and fears and everything that's showing up that's kind of blocking you it's not something else. It's your own stuff. It's needing to nurture those pieces of you, or needing to do your own coaching about that particular issue that you're having a hard time supporting somebody on. So that has been the biggest piece for me, and it's stuck with me throughout the process of, am I feeling this way just because of what they said, or is it really something going on with me? And being able to really tap into myself and figure out, okay, well, when did I first feel this way? I've never thought about that before. So being able to really kind of take that really big look at yourself, and start to really figure out the pieces of what you need, and of what components are at play.
Yeah, I love that. And what would you say was your favorite part?
My favorite part, I think, just the connection. I think it's lonely, right? In the virtual world,
Mhm.
let alone I think the
Yeah.
coaching world too. Just being able to soundboard off of a group of people that are not judging you, that are completely there, ready to support you, to also call you out on your bullshit a little bit,
Yeah.
right? Which everybody needs. And I think that just being able to be in a space that is welcoming and that does feel safe and gives you that permission to be whoever the hell you are is the best part for me.
Oh, I love hearing that. Whenever someone shares that, to me, that is, it just makes me so happy because I do think there's not enough of that in our world where we feel that we can just be ourselves. And that is where I think so much magic, so much healing for all of us. And we all have different levels of it, right? That happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What would you say if right now someone was like, I don't know if this is for me, or I don't think it'll work for me, or, all the thoughts that some of us might have as we're thinking about joining a program like this? What would you want them to know?
For starters, those thoughts aren't unique to them, right? I think
Yeah,
everybody
right.
struggles with the should I? I know for myself, it was okay, I'm going to do this thing, and then I gave myself like 24 hours, and I was like, oh nope, I'm afraid to do it. Let me like reassess, and then I finally made that leap. So that's really that's that self protection, right? It's our
Yeah.
protection, kind of coming into play. But I think the biggest piece is if you're worried that it's not going to help, you're wrong. Your growth within the program is pretty much guaranteed. Really, regardless of how you show up, right? It will change you. It will shine a light, like I said, kind of on that inner child and
Mhm.
open doors to really your own personal growth and healing that you didn't even think were possible because you didn't really come into it expecting that. Um, you're going to have permission to be exactly who you are and at whatever stage with whatever baggage you have, and you're going to get to really experience what it's like to be in a space that accepts you for all
Mhm.
of those pieces. I think that they also just need to know that as they are is enough, right? You're worthy,
Yeah.
you're enough simply because you are you. And, from the moment that you became you, you were everything that you needed to be. So stepping into this program is really just another outlet to get to know yourself, to get to tap into the pieces of yourself that maybe do need some of that healing so then you can move forward and help heal other people.
Mm. I love that you said it's an opportunity to really get to know yourself.
Absolutely. I don't feel like we have ideas of who we are and what we want. And then I learned very quickly throughout my program that, oh, I actually don't know anything. And that's okay, right? Let me figure it out. Let me sit down and actually give myself that space to think about what I want, to think about what I'm feeling. I don't always have to be in that go mode. It's okay to
Mm.
breathe, to take some time to reflect, and to really understand yourself. And once you understand yourself at that level, you're able to understand others better. You're able to support them.
So true. 100% agree. That's what I always say. Like, we go first. And so much of our work actually is learning, like you said, getting to know yourself and learning how to hold that space for yourself. And that's what enables you to be able to do it for another person in a really beautiful, magical way.
Yeah. And I think holding that space for yourself within the program or for yourself within your life, but also being able to use some of that as you interact with those around you, right? Your husband,
Mhm.
your family, your kiddo, being able to take that moment to say, is this just an emotional reaction or is this actually coming from somewhere?
Yeah.
And right, being able to really, understanding yourself throughout all facets of who you are and the different roles that you play.
Oh, so good. Anything else, Eden, that, you would want to share? Actually, before I ask you that, I am curious about one more thing. So, what has shifted, like tangibly, in your life? Like, if there's one, two, or three things that you could be like, this was here and now it's like this.
Tangible shifts, I would say, being the workaholic self that I am, being able to really take back some of that control of my schedule. I think I've,
Oof.
again, been in that mindset of I have to do all of the things, I have to constantly be working. And some of the biggest pieces that I worked on through even peer coaching within the program was really how do I disconnect at the end of the day and, reintegrate myself back into the real world, but also how do I press pause throughout my day? How do I take breaks? How do I let myself take breaks without
Mm.
feeling guilty about taking breaks? And some of those pieces, rather than allowing myself to work a 10-hour day, I have not done that in the past probably 4 months, right? I'm really being able to
Wow.
set those boundaries for myself, for my self-care, for my well-being. And it's taken some work. I mess up every now and again. Sometimes workaholics still creep
Yeah.
back in, right? I'm human. But I have that awareness now that, oh, hey, you're doing that thing where you're just pushing yourself to work even though you really don't need to right now. It's okay to rest.
And from that, what have you noticed? Being able to now take breaks, take some rest, not be in the permanent hustle mode.
Yeah. So one of the first peer coaching calls that I had, we talked a lot about that like Sunday blues that you get when you're waiting for
Yeah.
Monday. And that has always been a piece that I never really understood for myself, because it's like I like what I do. I love my job. So why am I so upset every Sunday about going to work on Monday, right? Like, so that has been what shifted for me. I don't feel that sense of dread so much anymore
Mm.
coming into work. I don't feel the dread when going into a coaching call. It's really, I'm able to sit back and say, okay, why are you maybe anxious about work? Is there really a reason to be anxious right now? Or is this maybe just stemming from some of your previous experiences or trauma with
Yeah.
other work situations? And I kind of tune into myself and I'm able to turn it off, right? Able to turn it off a little bit and say, it is my Sunday night and I'm not letting work take that energy, take that time from me. And I also kind of have gotten into the habit of moving my body a little bit out of those moments. So when I feel all of the anxious pieces kind of coming in, normal person 6 months ago would sit on her couch just spiraling. Now I say, okay, you're spiraling. Let's get up. Let's move. Let's figure it out. Right.
Oh my God, that's so, so good. I love that. Oh, and I think there's probably a lot of people listening right now that need to hear that A, it's okay to take breaks, and that it doesn't have to feel also like heavy.
Absolutely.
Priceless, man. Oh, okay. Now I'll ask you anything else that you wanted to share um, before we, move on with our days, our pre-Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I want to share is just that they are going to be so surprised of how things go. You might have a plan for what your 6 months or 3 months or whatever program will look like. And it's really, it's going to be a journey that's going to take you places you didn't expect, but with intention. And you're going to
Mhm.
come out on the other side with more knowledge and more awareness and more healing than you thought was possible. You're enough exactly as you are, and you're going to learn that within this program. And it's not an easy thing to believe and to
Yeah.
really tap into, but kind of with that repetition, with that supportive loving space, with the tools, all of those different pieces that come into play, you're really going to be able to embody that I don't have to do everything, that I am enough, I don't have to be more, I get to do what I want. And
Mhm.
all of those pieces, it can apply to more than your coaching. It applies to life. So you might be learning how to be a coach, but you're going to be getting some life coaching along the way.
Oh, yes, 100%, right? Oh my God. Thank you so much, Eden. That was just, oh, so many great golden nuggets there. I hope everyone lets that sink in. And if you're listening and you're watching, and I'm just going to throw this out there, even though I didn't ask Eden, but if you want to talk to someone like Eden who's been through it, you can DM her now because she is literally tagged in this. And if you're interested in learning more, curious about if this is right for you, please don't hesitate. DM me. We'll jump on a call and we'll chat about it. And we'll together, I will help you just figure out what is the right direction for you in your path, whether it's this or something else. All right, everyone. Happy pre-Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful holiday. And thank you so much, Eden. I am so grateful for you.
Yes, you're so welcome. Thanks, everyone.